Elaine will take over for her presentation, and we'll have all the questions at the end. So if I could now hand over to Lorraine.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. So today I'm going to just give you a little bit of context for the exchanges. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lorraine Brennan. I am one of the directors of NuGO, and I'm based in University College in Dublin. So the So I wanted to just give you some history of the exchanges. So when myself and Baki Darous took over as NuGO directors a few years ago, we surveyed the members of NuGO to see what they would like to get from NuGO. And one of the key things that they highlighted was the possibility of spending some time in labs of other members of NuGO. So NuGO exchanges as such. So that's where it emerged from in this context. So we wanted to facilitate really the flow of researchers from one lab to another lab across the NuGO network. And we have done this over the past 3 years. Have facilitated by giving funding to a number of researchers so they could go and spend a set period of time in someone else's lab. They are competitive awards, so we ask people to submit their CV and a short outline of the work that they will do on the exchange. Subsequent to the exchange, then they report back what they have achieved during the exchange. So overall, if we look at what has happened in the past few years, it has been extremely successful. The only limiting factor was funds. So to try deal with this, we have increased the award per exchange this year, because the award previously, it was quite tight on funds and on money. So to listening to the feedback from people, we have increased the amount per award. But I'll come back to that later in the talk. So I'm really going to just give you, I guess, now a flavour of why we believe these exchanges are important. So the benefits of exchanges are, of course, the obvious one is that it fosters collaborations. More specifically, I guess, for early career people, is that it gives you the opportunity to learn new techniques. So you can go to a lab and learn a new technique that isn't used in your current lab. And this, I think, has been really the success of it. So a number of exchanges have allowed people to move to another lab for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, either to do some data analysis that wasn't available or to perform some experiments with techniques that weren't available in their own lab. For early career investigators, it's also very important for you to be able to build networks. So you will meet people in these different labs, and they can give you future opportunities going forward in your career. From an international perspective, it is recognised that scientific exchange and international mobility are actually essential for good training of young scientists. And this is brought to fore when you think about Marie Curie exchange grants, for example, which foster that people should move during their careers to get exposed to different experts and to try link to high quality scientists and innovation. So from this context, we really are keen to promote these exchange grants and to try build a network of exchange across the NuGO community. So the other thing that I guess it's very important to be aware of is that there has been research into the benefits of exchanges, and I looked it up yesterday and I found a couple of papers on the topic. So I'll tell you what they were saying. And according to one of them, the National Science Foundation in the US showed that actually the publications of authors from multiple countries has risen between 2000 and 2013 in all fields of science. But what's more interesting is that actually once those co-authors increase, so once you have a paper with multiple co-authors from different countries, your actual citations also increase. So there has been really a direct correlation between international collaboration and the citation impact of publications. So that's, I guess, strategically from your career point of view, is also very important to realise that if you the importance of these collaborations and these networks in trying to develop not only your own career but also to enhance your output from your research in terms of publications. Very slow in moving. So the exchanges then, in the context of NuGO, as I said earlier, we have increased the funding per exchange this year to 3,500. And we do put a minimum requirement on the stay. So we say that it has to be minimum 10 working days. And we found this, that actually the exchanges that were at least 10 working days were the most productive in their output. And we have regulations then, such as if it coincides with a conference, you need to make sure that you have 10 working days in the exchange lab. We have restricted it to maximum of 1 application per member organisation. That means that if I want to apply for in this round, then I can only either apply to go somewhere, or UCD can only receive someone. So that again is trying to make sure that we get equal distribution of the exchanges across the NuGO community. We have funds available and an open call at the moment, and we're hoping to fund 6 exchanges with the deadline of the 26th of March this year. And then the idea is that we'll have a second deadline later in the year in 2018. So if you can't get an application in March, don't worry, we will open a second call later in the year. So the exchanges are first and foremost meant for temporary staff, so early career staff as such. So they have to be PhDs or postdocs that have less than 5 years after obtaining their PhD. The only other thing that we instigate is that the host organisation has also to be a NuGO member organisation. So we're not funding people to go from a NuGO member organisation to a non-member organisation. So what we're really trying to do is to enhance collaboration across NuGO. The application is actually relatively straightforward. It is just you submit a CV of 1 to 2 pages, a description of the work that is to be done, including the relevance for both parties. So for both the party that's going, but also for the host party. It's relatively short, it's only 1 page, so it's not very onerous. It will be reviewed by members of the management board in NuGO, and as I said earlier, they're awarded on a competitive basis. So if I just encapsulate then what the exchanges are there, and again, it's reiterating what I said before, they are very important for career development, and that's recognised internationally, and there are scientific papers to back it up. And I can speak personally from my own career. I've benefited hugely through exchanges. So I've done, during my own PhD, I done an exchange in a lab in Portugal, and when I was finished my PhD, then they offered me a postdoc position, and then had the opportunity to go on a postdoc there as a result, direct result of the exchange. And then when I was postdocing in Ireland, I had the opportunity to go on an exchange for 4 months to University of Cambridge in the UK. And then I built up through that exchange very strong collaborations with people that I still collaborate with today. So in my own career, it really opened up opportunities that I didn't expect it to open up when I set out on the exchange. So I very much encourage you to think about spending some time, if at all possible, in a different lab environment. So what I'm saying is get planning, speak to your supervisor about the possibility of exchange, maybe identify a lab within the NuGO network that you would like to visit, approach the PI of that lab, or maybe your PI could approach that PI of that lab. So that has happened in our instance. where the PI of a different lab approached me and asked if I would accept for a period of a month one of her postdocs. And we did. The postdoc made a plan and was successfully awarded the grant. So I can only encourage you as much as possible to apply for it and make use of the benefits. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to hand over to Elaine, who was very successful in applying for one of these exchanges, and she'll tell you about some of the work that